Thiruvellarai and Aseevagam. Thiruvellarai is a small town near Trichy, and today we are going to see how this Thiruvellarai and Aseevagam are connected. Most of the work we are going to discuss about Thiruvellarai is from the works of Professor K.Nedunchezhiyan. In this video, we'll see that how important this place is for Aseevagam. We already know that Aseevagam was established by three great men, and they are Markali, Purana Kayappan, and Pakkudukai Nankaniyan. And we also know that Markali's philosophy is fatalism. In Tamil, it is called Ur, and Purana's philosophy is non-action and coincidence. In Tamil, it is called Tarchayal. And Pakkudukai Nankaniyar's philosophy is atomism or nature, இயல்பு கோட்பாடு in Tamil. And there are also others along with these three great men who founded Aseevagam, and they are Sana, Asithan, Aggivesayan, and Arjuna Gomayaputta. From the great research work of K. Nedunchezhiyan, we come to know that he disagrees that Markali established Aseevagam at Savatthi in the Magadhan Empire. He disagrees to the quote of Pali and Prakrit resources that Markali is a wanderer, a begging ascetic, or a slave, etc. Mr. K. Nedunchezhiyan establishes that Markali belongs to the Velir caste, and Markali must have been a king of a small region, a great warrior, and must have been born at Tirupidavur near Trichy. He also says that we need to do further research to establish where was Asevagam established, whether it was at Savatthi or someplace somewhere in Tamil Nadu. In this connection, the place Thiruvellarai near Trichy and the Vainava temple at Trichy seems to untangle many information concerning the earlier period of Asivagam. So Nedunchezhiyan says that near Thiruvellarai there is a place called Tiruthimalai, and there is a temple for Purana Kayappan along with his wife Puranam and Purkalai. And there is a story that Purana Kasappan had come to this place rearing his cattle and learned some siddhis from a siddha at Thiruvellarai. After learning some siddhis and practicing it, the villagers were afraid of him, and they chopped his head, and his head fell at Thiruvellarai. Then, repenting and fearing for their deeds, the villagers built a temple at Thiruvellarai. This is one of the story existing at Thiruvellarai. And to establish whether someone had really come from Tirunelveli, Professor K. Nedunchezhiyan travels to Marugal Talai, which is in Tirunelveli, and establishes that yes, from Marugal Talai, Puranar had come to Thiruvellarai. There are these stories about Purana's death. The Chinese and the Pali text says that Puranar had committed suicide by drowning in water. The story near Trichy says he was killed or murdered. Professor Nedunchezhiyan discards that Puranar must have been murdered. He believes that Puranar must have ended his life on his own. Further, he says that the findings of importance is that there was a Siddha at Tiruvellarai, and Puranar must have learned some Siddhis from him. The temple at Tiruvellarai for Vishnu was built by many kings of the Pallava, Chola, Pandya, Hosalya, and Vijayanagar dynasties. In Tiruvellarai temple, there is an entrance for Aryabhatta. Professor Nedunchezhiyan meticulously establishes that Aryabhatta would have been a great scientist and a student of Nalanda from the Chera country, which was a kingdom under ancient Tamil Nadu. Though Aryabhatta must have been from the present day Kerala, he must have been a Tamil, because in those days the Cheras, the mother tongue or the language that was spoken by the Cheras were also Tamil. There is one more entrance called Nari Kotan Voyal in this temple, and if you divide the day into 60 parts, we get one Nari. So Nari is 24 minutes. The point worth noting is the temple at Thiruvellarai, known as Sendamarai Kannan Temple in Tamil and Pundari Kakshan Temple in Sanskrit, is a temple which has many connection to the great astronomers and mathematicians and philosophers. The inner sanctum of this temple is built on a rock, and it is built on top of two white elephants which resembles INR temple, says Professor Nedunchezhiyan. This temple was also known as Big Sri Temple. Further, Professor Nedunchezhiyan states that Sri Temple was established for Adinadar, and wherever there is a temple for Adinadar, there we find a sanctum for Arapayar Satan, a Sannidhi for Arapayar Satan, and Arapayar Satan is also known as Markali or Ayyanar. Markali also has this name called Sevuganda Perumal, says the professor. In Tamil, Se means a bull or Nandi, and Adinadar's Vagan is bull. Hence, a disciple of Adinadar is called Sevuganda Perumal. Further, professor says that the inner sanctum of Thiruvellarai has seven figures, and they are one Thirumal, Markandeyan, Nilamagal or Bhumi Devi, sun, moon, eagle, and the snake, which resembles the seven ascetics who established Aseevagam. Thiruvellarai belongs to Aseevagam, claims Professor Nedunchezhiyan with the following facts. The Chola inscriptions in this temple calls this temple as Big Sri Temple. And the professor has explained how Big Sri Temple is a temple for Adinadar. Just like the 18 steps in Ayyanar temple, this temple too has 18 steps. And the elephant and horse statue in the side walls are present in this 18 steps. After the 18 steps, we have this 18 step karupu. We find at the entrance the karupu. Padinettam padi karupu, they say in Tamil. In the second phase, there are four steps, which in Aseevagam is known as Sadhuvangam. And there are five steps according to the concept of Enniyam, otherwise known as Sankhya. And Nankaniyan was the head of Sankhya school and one of the chief founder of Aseevagam. The naming of Aryabhatta and Narikotan entrance denotes the contribution of Aseevagar in the field of science. The inner sanctum as the white elephant of Ayyanars. There are two entrances for the sun solstice entrances. Before worshipping Vishnu or Thirumal, there is a story in which he says that there is someone higher than me. First, worship him and come to me. Thus, Thiruvellarai is the place where Asivagam was established. The great places in the Tamilnadu for Aseevagam are Alagar Malai in Madurai, Thiruvellarai, and Professor also says Thiruvarangam must, that is Sri Rangam, is also must have been a temple for Aseevagars. Thus, we find Thiruvellarai is an important place for um, the establishment of Asevagam. And from his work, we find that Asevagam must have been established somewhere near Trichy, and we find that Puranar must have come from Tirunelveli, and Markali was born near Tirupidavur near Trichy. Thus, Thiruvellarai is an important place. Please do visit this place and find that this place seems to be a protected place with high walls like fort. Even Aragar Malai is a fortified temple. Thiruvellarai is a fortified temple on a white rock. So thus we get this name Thiruvellarai or Vellarai. Vellai means white, we know that. And here we find in this temple, where professor says that whenever Adinatha temple is there, Adinatha's Vahan is the bull, and Markali's Vahan is elephant. We find in the entrance of the temple the bull and the elephant. Okay, one hand, if you close it, we'll find the elephant. Other side, we'll find the bull, and below which we find also Yoga Narsimhar, or a statue which says that when Aseevagam is won over by Vainabam, we find a Yoga Narsimhar statue in that. There are also many. There is a swastik tank behind this temple, which denotes that swastik must have been a symbol of Aseevagam. And there are many other statues and other things which establishes that this is the earliest temple for Aseevagam, and Aseevagam was established in this place.